wanted to remind them about the hereafter. At the ayah number 31, he reminded them about this worldly life and the punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this life, like the punishment of Nuh, Ad, Thamud. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala punished them on this life, but after their death Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will punish them in the hereafter forever. Here the man wanted, after reminding them, after warning them about the punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this life, he wanted to threaten them with the punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the hereafter. وَيَا قَوْمِ إِنِّي أَخَافُ عَلَيْكُمْ, I fear you the day of mutual calling. إِنِّي أَخَافُ عَلَيْكُمْ يَوْمَ التَّنَادِ يَوْمَ تُوَلُّونَ مُدْبِرِينَ, at that day you will turn your back, مُدْبِرِينَ, fleeing, you will turn your back and flee. مَا لَكُمْ مِنَ اللَّهِ مِنْ عَاصِمٍ, having not any protector from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No one can protect you against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I fear for you that day, the day of mutual calling, the day of resurrection, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will destroy the earth and the heavens and then create them again and create you again and take you and gather you before Him. At that day I fear for you, you will not have any protector against the punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you are right now, before that day, you are right now have the chance to follow the truth and to use your mind and ears and eyes. Please do not deny your chance today, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala after a while will punish you in this life, and it's already happened to the many nations before you, and it shows that it will happen to you if you persist in denying the only one God. And it's not only punishing in this world, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will punish you in the day of resurrection, and that punishment is everlasting punishment, and that day you will not have anyone or anything to protect you, to guard you, or ward the punishment of Allah, or off the punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. مَا لَكُمْ مِنَ اللَّهِ مِنْ عَاصِمٍ. And at the end of the ayah number 33, he said, وَمَنْ يُضْلِلِ اللَّهُ فَمَا لَهُ مِنْ هَادٍ, and whomsoever Allah send astray, وَمَنْ يُضْلِلِ اللَّهُ فَمَا لَهُ مِنْ هَادٍ, no one can guide him. He wants to say them, if you persist on denying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you will be deserved to be sent astray by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent astray those who deserve to be sent astray and guide those who deserve to be guided. This is the sunnah, the rule of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and this is the justice of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The guidance is in His hand, and it is the most valuable thing that every people should try to reach it. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has some rules, so He chose some people who wants the truth and who is ready to sacrifice for the truth, and using his mind, ears and eyes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant them His guidance. But those who deny the truth, after Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala warning them with many signs and with many people or many other things, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has every means to warn his servant, if they nevertheless, if they persist on denying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, after that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala send them astray and seal up on their ears and eyes and heart. After Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala send them astray, فَمَا لَهُ مِنْ هَادٍ, no one can guide them. So today Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala lead you to the truth, so follow the truth. If you deny, if you persist on denying, then be sure that tomorrow or after tomorrow no one can bring the hidayah to you. So the chance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is before you. If you refuse the hand of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if you refuse His call, then do not think that after today or after a while some people can bring the hidayah to you after Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sending you astray. It's the same, it has the same meaning with the ayah, يا أيها الذين آمنوا استجيبوا لله وللرسول إذا دعاكم لما يحييكم. All who believed, hasten to follow the truth and respond to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His messenger. If you want to reach the real life, respond to that call which will bring to you life. استجيبوا لله وللرسول إذا دعاكم لما يحييكم. When He calls you to that will bring you life. And do not refuse the life after you realize and understanding it. If you refuse, although you convinced by the truth, if you refuse the truth today, you cannot be sure that tomorrow Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will cut the bond between you and the truth. وَاعْلَمُوا أَنَّ اللَّهَ يَحُولُ بَيْنَ الْمَرْءِ وَقَلْبِهِ. You should know that Allah may separate your heart and you. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enter between you and your heart. And after that, you cannot feel your heart, so you cannot feel the truth, and so that you cannot acknowledge anything good or denounce anything evil. So you have a limited chance. Do not waste your chance. You are now understanding that there can be only one God. Please do not refuse this truth just to refuse Moses. You may not like Moses, but do not refuse the truth just because you want to refuse Moses. Like the word of Salih, Prophet Salih, when he said, يَا قَوْمِ لَا يَجْرِمَنَّكُمْ شِقَاقِي أَنْ يُصِيبَكُمْ مِثْلُ مَا أَصَابَ قَوْمَ نُوحٍ أَوْ قَوْمَ لُوطٍ. Do not, let not your loathing against me, your hate against me, let not your hate mislead you from the truth. You may not like me, but you should acknowledge the truth. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has chosen me as a prophet, and I'm bringing you to the truth, and you understand the truth. You should acknowledge the truth, and after acknowledging the truth, you should respect the choice of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by sending me. At least you cannot refuse the truth. وَلَا تَكُونُوا أَوَّلَ كَافِرٍ بِهِ. Be not first disbelieve in the truth. This is the truth which you know. You learned it from your book, from Torah, from Bible, that there is only one God. Throughout the history, all the apostles of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said the same thing. يَا قَوْمِ اتَّقُوا رَبَّكُمْ مَا لَكُمْ إِلَّهٌ غَيْرُهُ. Fear of your Lord, there is no God except your Lord, the only one God. This believer man try to do his best and to remind them in the utmost reminding, and say that there is a punishment in this life, and it will be happened upon you because of your sin. And subhanahu wa ta'ala, the only one God, is never unjust against his servants, and it's not limited with the punishment in this life. After this life and in the day of resurrection, I fear that when you turn your back and try to flee from the punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but you have not any refuge, كَلَّا لَا وَزَرْ إِلَىٰ رَبِّكَ يَوْمَئِذٍ الْمُسْتَقَرُّ. Nay, there is no any refuge except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and upon him is the place of rest. إِلَىٰ رَبِّكَ يَوْمَئِذٍ الْمُسْتَقَرُّ. Everyone and everything will return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because he is the creator and he will judge about his creatures. You cannot flee from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and there cannot be anyone help you against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I fear for you, it's very serious period of time. Please do not refuse the truth just because an Israeli, namely Moses sallallahu alayhi wasallam, had come to you with the truth, and he's not an Egyptian and you do not like him. Do not refuse the truth in order to refuse Moses. This Egyptian man, believer man, chose the truth regardless of the one who says that truth. He didn't interested with the nationality of Moses sallallahu alayhi wasallam. He didn't say, I cannot accept one who is Israeli, and he didn't make matter, the race as a matter. He said, this is the truth and I am accepting the truth, and all my people follow me and accept the truth, because if you deny it, denying the truth is very critical actions. When you persist on denying the truth, I fear that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala may send you astray, and if he send you astray, no one can guide you. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله العظيم لي ولكم ولسائر المؤمنين. ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا واخطأنا، ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا، ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا، أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين، والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته.